What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I'm here to tell you wonderful, wonderful news about a new Demon Slayer trading card game. Now, when I say a Demon Slayer trading card game, I'm being slightly disingenuous here, so let me be very, very clear. We are talking about the trading card game Build Divide, which is, of course, a Japanese card game you may or may not have heard of. But they've got a Demon Slayer set which has just come out, and this makes me very, very excited indeed. And look, I know I'm late to the party on Demon Slayer. I get that, I'm sorry. I know I should have been watching it a long time ago. For that, you have my apologies. But I have started watching it now, and I am very excited about this card game. Now, Build Divide as a whole launched in October 2021. There was an anime as well, but that actually ended last month. In June 2022, that is apparently over now, and the card game seems to be a little bit of a mix of some of their own sets and then crossovers with other card games, which is a little bit strange, but also kind of awesome, honestly. Full Metal Alchemist is another anime that some people, or probably a lot of you, are going to be familiar with, which has had a set as well. When I say has a set, I should probably make it clear. Has had a set announced. It's going to be coming out in January 2023, as you can see from the image on the screen. Shout out to the lovely Alpha TCG for helping me out with a little bit of this. Or maybe you could talk about Fate Stay Night as an example, which is going to be coming out in September of this year. So it seems like Build Divide are spending a little bit more time, well, crossing over with other properties, which does make sense. Of course, we all know that Weiss Schwarz up till now have been, or I don't know if they're the only one, but they've at least been the one that's been on my radar as doing all of the crossovers with various properties. I showed you and even opened some Marvel Weiss Schwarz on this channel, and that's all fun and games. It seems like Build Divide are doing a similar kind of thing, and I am here for it. So what do we have in terms of Demon Slayer and Build Divide? Oh, I should say, just as a very, very brief overview, if you go to build-divide-community.fandom.com, you can go and get the basic game rules. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail, but essentially, it's your classic one-on-one TCG. You take down your opponent's life, and you attack to win the game, or you deck them out, and you generate energy, which can be used to pay for cards, and there are characters that fight each other and things of that nature. And don't get me wrong, there's all kinds of intricacies and other things which are different from other card games, but in terms of the basics of the card game, this is roughly what you would expect. Looks fun. I intend to be playing a bunch of it. So what have we got in terms of Demon Slayer and Build Divide? Well, a little while ago at this stage, there was actually a starter deck that was released. It came out on the 13th of May, and we're talking about one starter deck. It is one starter deck, and I believe all of the cards in the starter deck are unique. They're only available there, and that's what you get. So there is a starter deck essentially full of unique cards, and that's fun. Obviously, with only having one starter deck, you either have to play mirror matches or you have to play it against another property, which games like this are very much designed to do. But there are 18 cards in there. I think a lot, if not all of them, are unique to the starter deck, and this will get you going nicely. That came out in May. It's been out a little while. If it makes you feel better, this is actually pretty readily available as it stands at the moment. I managed to pick one of these up for actually below retail, although I did obviously have to pay the shipping to get it here, which is very reasonable, so this is rather lovely. But what's really exciting is the booster set, which just came out this past week on the 1st of July. And this is a proper set of cards, which is kind of awesome. There are 56 cards in total, and you buy them in booster boxes. And this is one of those ones where I think I need to get one of all the cards and then collect them in my binder nicely, because they're absolutely beautiful. Now, what you're really going for here, the real highlights, are what are known as DRs or Divide Rares. And these are generally seen because they've got stamps on them. So to show you, and these are alternate art cards, which I adore. Vice Schwartz does this as well, and they do stamps actually on them too. I love when they do this, where it's, hey, here is a super fancy version of a card that you really want to collect and put in your binder, but oh, if you want to play, here's a regular version. So you've got Nezuko here, who is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a super rare. It's not exactly the easiest card to pull ever, but it's there. But then there is a Divide rare, which is largely the same card, but the background's been changed a little bit, and you've got the Demon Slayer Japanese logo stamped on it there, which looks absolutely amazing. And then I could give you another example here. You've got the Tanjiro super rare. And then, of course, you've got the Divide rare, same general artwork, but the background changes a little bit, and you get the Japanese Demon Slayer logo. These are not guaranteed one per box, unfortunately, which is a little bit sad, because they're beautiful. But I've been having a little bit of a gander over on DS Nippon Bashi over on Twitter. The prices of these aren't ridiculous. I follow them on Twitter largely because they post buy prices for all of their cards. They are a shop and they basically just post buy prices of, hey, we want to buy these cards, here's how much we're paying. But it means you can have a lovely little look at the cards and how much they're actually being bought for. Although, do remember, these are buy prices. They'll be sold for a little bit more. But for instance, the Tanjiro there is being bought for 2,500 yen. You'll notice the regular is 300 yen, which is, let's just say very, very, very low. These super rares hold almost no value, which is lovely because I want to get one of all of the super rares. I mean, even the stamped version here, 2,500 yen, that's $18.50 or £15.50. And okay, fine, you'll pay a little bit more, but that's very, very reasonable. Obviously, the most expensive one of them is Nezuko there. That shouldn't really surprise anyone, and that's actually double. That's being bought for 5,000 yen, and that's looking around about $37 or around about £31. But, come on. She's the most popular character in the anime. That was always going to be the case. That was somewhat inevitable. So the good news is, if you do want to complete the collection like I do, and I've got a couple of boxes on the way, don't worry, there will be openings on this channel. If I open one of the stamped Divide rares, amazing. If I don't, I'm kind of cool with that. I want everything up to the super rares and ultra rares and all of that, and you'll notice that they're generally rocking like 300 to 500 yen, which is really not particularly expensive at all. And then your Divide rares are like 3,000 to 5,000 yen, which, you know, they're not super duper cheap, but if you're talking about like 30 quid at the top end, plus a little bit more for profit for the shop, that's not so bad, ladies and gentlemen. That's not so bad at all. And that's generally what there is to know, with the exception of a single promo card. There is a Nezuko promo card here, and it's kind of a little bit sad, right? Because I'm having a little bit of a look, and basically, if you go and spend 3,000 yen on product, you'll get yourself one of these promo cards. I don't know where to get these promo cards. I mean, presumably, if I go to Japan, walk into a card shop, I can get one of these promo cards, but that's pretty expensive, which is a little bit sad. Over on the website, this is the only one they're actually listing. They've got information about the starter deck, about the actual expansion, and then about this singular promo card. Presumably, it's going to be one that's going to be a little bit awkward to try and get, which is a little bit sad, but I suppose it's not the end of the world. So yeah, if you're a fan of Demon Slayer, this seems kind of legit. I mean, Build Divided, it's still quite a new card game. The card game is not yet a year old. It's going to be a year old in 3 months, so you're talking a 9-month-old game. Is it going to last? I don't know. I mean, we should all be quite happy about the fact that they've gone and told us that the Full Metal Alchemist set is going to be coming in January 2023. So they're clearly telling us that there's stuff to be excited about and stuff that's coming. So I think this is something to, you know, be cautiously optimistic about. Either way, completing the actual main set of Demon Slayer, you're talking like a 56 card set. And sure, the super rares and ultra rares are gonna set you back a few quid, but then nothing like we see in some other card games. Even the Divide rares aren't getting silly yet, although we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Now, the lovely Poketage has given us some information. Apparently, there are 7 super rares, and there are 3 of those per box, roughly. That's not a guarantee. 5 ultra rares, which are 2 per box, not a guarantee. And 4 Divide rares, which are not guaranteed to be coming in every box. So, if you want to complete the set, that's roughly what you're looking at. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I can tell you about the set. And now I want to hear from you guys. How excited are you about this? Is this the kind of thing you want to be looking up? And actually, before we finish, let me just say, it is very unlikely. Don't expect this to get an English release. Because I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of questions going, hey, Wassy, what about an English release? Don't expect an English release. Just don't expect it to happen. Maybe it will, but Build Divide is a Japanese card game. I have heard absolutely nothing about it coming out in other territories. And frankly, they're not just going to bring the Demon Slayer set out. They're going to bring the card game out, including this set. As it stands at the moment, forgive the pun, it's not on the card. I'm not saying it'll never happen, but I am saying that Build Divide doesn't seem like it's coming out in English. And even if it was coming out in English, it's not going to be out in time for the Demon Slayer set. So they'd have to go back to it. And I don't know. In terms of whether there's going to be a second Demon Slayer set, maybe. It's absolutely possible. But the card game's so new, we don't really know if that's the kind of thing they're planning on doing or not. Unless it's just been on the website and I've not seen it because my Japanese isn't good enough. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think about this in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy. That's where we talk about a whole bunch of card games, and apparently now that includes Build Divide. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassy Plays.